In 1995, they were the kings of Thursday night television, making us laugh until it hurt. But nearly 30 years later, the laughter has turned into a deep sense of nostalgia. From shocking physical changes to career shifts that no one saw coming, the cast of the Wayans brothers has lived a lifetime since the show ended. Grab your tissues as we witness the dramatic passage of time for these beloved comedy pioneers. Marlon Wayans as Marlon Williams. Born on July 23, 1972 in New York City. New York, the comedian and actor first brought his hyperactive physical comedy to the forefront on the hit sitcom The Wayans Brothers in 1995. At the age of 22, Wayans' portrayal of the goofy, unpredictable, and famously immature younger brother became a cultural touchstone of 90s television. His unmatched energy and slapstick brilliance helped anchor the early original lineup of the WB network, offering a hilarious, unapologetic look at young black manhood and brotherhood that resonated deeply with a massive and loyal audience. Despite the character's notoriously foolish, lazy, and irresponsible nature, Marlon Wayans is in reality an intensely driven, hard-working writer-producer and businessman who meticulously helped craft his family's multi-million-dollar comedic empire. This stark contrast highlighted his performing skill, though playing such wildly over-the-top caricatures led to significant struggles with typecasting. For years, he fought to be taken seriously as an actor beyond spoof movies and physical comedy, actively having to pursue intense dramatic roles, such as his acclaimed turn in the 2000 film Requiem for a Dream, to prove his versatile range to Hollywood. His career was also marked by the sudden and frustrating cancellation of The Wayans Brothers in 1999. The network abruptly axed the show without giving the brothers the opportunity to film a proper series finale, denying the cast and fans a formal goodbye after 119 episodes. Marlon Wayans continued to thrive in television and film for decades, co-writing and starring in monumental box office hits like the Scary Movie franchise, White Chicks, and Little Man, while continuously securing serious roles in critical successes such as Respect and Air. He has openly shared his personal evolution over the years, navigating life as a devoted father, maintaining an amicable co-parenting relationship with his longtime ex-partner Angelica Zachary, and recently channeling his personal hardships and profound family grief into highly praised, emotionally vulnerable stand-up comedy specials. At the age of 53, he remains a prolific and powerful force in the entertainment industry, consistently touring the globe as a stand-up comic while actively acting, writing, and producing across multiple genres. Shawn Wayans as Shawn Williams. Born on January 19, 1971 in New York City. New York, the talented comedian and writer helped pioneer a new era of television when The Wayans Brothers premiered in 1995. At the age of 23, Wayans' portrayal of the stylish, ambitious, and slightly vain newsstand owner became a major cultural touchstone. Alongside his real-life brother, Marlon Shawn provided a hilarious grounded anchor to the show's unapologetic slapstick and physical comedy. The sitcom was a foundational pillar for the WB network, heavily integrating 90s hip-hop culture and urban life into prime-time television and firmly establishing the Wayans brothers as defining voices of a generation. Despite his character's flashy, extroverted, and famously womanizing persona on screen, Shawn Wayans is known in real life to be much more reserved, introspective, and heavily focused on the behind-the-scenes craft of writing and producing. This contrast marked his professional journey as he had to navigate being viewed primarily as a sitcom character while quietly operating as a methodical architect of his family's comedic empire. His television career was also marred by notable professional frustrations, most glaringly when The Wayans Brothers was abruptly canceled in 1999 after 5 seasons. The network did not give the hit show a proper series finale, a disheartening conclusion that the brothers famously mocked in later projects. While he went on to achieve massive success writing and starring in films like Scary Movie and White Chicks, he eventually faced the struggle of being heavily typecast in the parody genre. As the landscape of Hollywood comedy evolved away from broad spoofs, he found it increasingly difficult to secure diverse acting work, leading to a long hiatus from starring roles. At the age of 55, Shawn Wayans has largely stepped back from the Hollywood spotlight to focus on his personal life and live performances. After stepping away from major feature films, his last major starring role being in 2009's dance flick, he pivoted back to his roots regularly, touring the country as a stand-up comedian and enjoying the immediate connection of live audiences. He remains a dedicated father to his 3 children, Lela, Ilya, and Marlon, maintaining a very private lifestyle far removed from the tabloids. Though he is no longer a constant presence in front of the camera, he continues to work quietly as a producer and writer, securing his lasting legacy as a collaborative force behind some of the most memorable comedies of the late 90s and early 2000s. John Witherspoon as John Pops Williams. Born on January 27, 1942 in Detroit, Michigan, John Witherspoon began his career in stand-up comedy before transitioning to television and film. At the age of 52, Witherspoon first took on the role of John Pops Williams in The Wayans Brothers, when the sitcom premiered in 1995. His portrayal of the eccentric, mismatched clothing-wearing diner owner became a massive cultural touchstone, offering a hilarious and memorable depiction of a hard-working, albeit wildly unfiltered father. With his unforgettable catchphrases like bang, 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 and coordinate, Pops evolved into one of the most beloved father figures in 1990s television, leaving a lasting legacy in black entertainment. Despite the loud, flashy, and constantly scheming nature of Pops Williams, John Witherspoon was known off-camera as a profoundly dedicated family man and a deeply grounded professional individual who was much calmer than his on-screen persona. While audiences adored his over-the-top comedic style, his distinct brand of humor led to a degree of typecasting, making it difficult for him to land serious dramatic roles, and often boxing him into the archetype of the grumpy, outlandish older man. Additionally, Witherspoon faced professional frustrations, most notably when The Wayans Brothers was abruptly canceled by the WB in 1999 after 5 seasons. The network pulled the plug without giving the cast the opportunity to film a proper series finale, leaving a bittersweet and unresolved conclusion for him, his co-stars, and the fans. In his later years, Witherspoon continued to enjoy a robust career as a stand-up comedian actor and voice artist, famously voicing Robert "Granddad" Freeman on the animated series The Boondocks, and frequently touring comedy clubs across the country. Off-screen, he was a devoted husband and father of 2 sons, remaining a revered mentor to an entire generation of younger black comedians. Witherspoon passed away suddenly at his home in Sherman Oaks, California, on October 29, 2019, at the age of 77 from a heart attack caused by severe coronary artery disease. His unexpected passing sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, prompting an outpouring of emotional tributes from fans, comedians, and his former TV sons, Marlon and Shawn Wayans, who deeply mourned the loss of a man who was a father figure both on and off the screen. Missy Elliott as herself. Born on July 1, 1971, the Portsmouth, Virginia native had already begun making massive waves in the music industry before her memorable guest starring spot on the sitcom The Wayans Bros. At the age of 27, Elliott's portrayal of a heightened comedic version of herself became a cultural touchstone, offering a primetime depiction of hip-hop excellence that was both hilarious and significant. Performing alongside Nicole Ray in the 1998 episode The Kiss. Her comedic timing and undeniable swagger defined a cameo that remains one of the era's most iconic television crossovers. Despite the bombastic and extroverted nature of her on-screen persona, Missy Elliott is intensely private shy and described by those who know her as the polar opposite of her flashy alter ego. This contrast was a significant part of her personal journey. She found navigating the relentless spotlight of global superstardom to be a challenge. Her career was also marked by profound physical and professional struggles. In 2008, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that caused severe tremors, hair loss, and motor skill deterioration. This illness created an immense difficulty in finding the strength to work or perform effectively, sidelining her while the fast-paced music industry shifted. The sudden halt to her career brought a professional sting. She went from being hip-hop's most prolific producer and artist to stepping away from the industry entirely for years to manage her health, a disheartening pause to a legendary run. Missy Elliott eventually learned to manage her condition and successfully returned to music, though she never married or had children and remained a very private individual. She continued to work behind the scenes and occasionally released new music, eventually becoming the first female rapper inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2019. Throughout the 2010s and 2020s, she made spectacular returns to the stage, including a show-stealing performance at the 2015 Super Bowl halftime show and receiving the MTV Video Vanguard Award. She also released the acclaimed EP Iconology in 2019 and embarked on her first headlining arena tour in 2024. As of 2026, at the age of 54, she is celebrated as a trailblazing hip-hop icon and continues to be an influential mentor to the newest generation of artists. Bernie Mac as Uncle Shank. Born on October 5, 1957 in Chicago, Illinois, the stand-up comedy powerhouse brought his booming presence to television on the hit 1995 sitcom The Wayans Bros. At the age of 39, Mac's guest portrayal of the tough, intimidating neighborhood bully Uncle Shank became a standout cultural moment, offering a hilarious depiction of a streetwise hustler who tries to force Marlon to marry his sister. Though his appearance was brief, his undeniable comedic timing and commanding aura left a lasting impact on the 90s black sitcom landscape, proving his ability to steal scenes and hold his own alongside the comedic energy of Shawn and Marlon Wayans. Despite the character's aggressive and intimidating nature, Bernie Mac, born Bernard Jeffrey McCulloch, was fundamentally a devoted family man and a deeply caring individual off-camera. Those who knew him described him as warm, generous, and the polar opposite of the abrasive, no-nonsense hustlers he frequently portrayed. This contrast was a major hurdle in his early career, as Hollywood continually typecast him as a scary enforcer or loudmouthed bully, making it difficult for him to secure nuanced leading roles. He spent years grinding through small comedy clubs and enduring professional rejections. Even after achieving monumental success with his own hit sitcom, The Bernie Mac Show, he faced constant battles with network executives to keep his authentic comedic voice intact before the series was unceremoniously canceled after 5 seasons. Bernie Mac transcended his early struggles to build a legendary career, cementing his status as one of the original kings of comedy, and starring in major blockbuster films like Ocean's 11, Bad Santa, and Mr. 3000. However, behind his larger-than-life public persona, he privately battled severe sarcoidosis, a chronic inflammatory disease that heavily damaged his lungs. Bernie Mac passed away at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago on August 9, 2008, at the age of 50, due to complications from pneumonia. His untimely death sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, prompting an outpouring of grief from fans and peers alike, and leading to heartfelt posthumous tributes in his final film releases such as Madagascar Escape to Africa, ensuring his legacy as a titan of comedy would never be forgotten. Anna Maria Horsford as Deirdre Dee Dee Baxter. Born on March 6, 1948 in Harlem, New York, the talented actress had already made a name for herself on the sitcom Amen, before joining the cast of The Wayans Brothers during its second season. At the age of 47, Horsford's portrayal of the tough, no-nonsense security guard of the Niedermeyer building became a cultural touchstone for 90s television. Offering a hilarious counterbalance to the brothers' wild and immature antics, her character became a beloved fixture of the hit sitcom, representing a fiercely loyal, authoritative figure who was both side-splittingly funny and deeply significant to the decade's boom of black representation on screen. Despite the character's imposing, loud, and physically intimidating persona, Anna Maria Horsford in real life is known for her graceful elegance, warm maternal nature, and sophisticated connection to her Caribbean roots, making her the polar opposite of the rugged Dee Dee. This contrast was a testament to her acting abilities, though she often faced the professional hurdle of being typecast into exclusively tough-talking or matronly roles throughout her career. Her time on The Wayans Brothers also came with industry heartbreak. Despite the show's tremendous popularity and cornerstone status for the network, it was unceremoniously canceled by the WB in 1999 without any warning. The cast and crew were never given the chance to film a proper series finale, a bitter and lingering professional frustration that the Wayans brothers famously called out in their later films. Anna Maria Horsford continued to work steadily in television and film for decades, proving her versatility across both comedy and drama. She immortalized herself in pop culture as Craig's mother, Betty Jones, in the Friday film franchise, and took on dramatic roles such as Ada Beth and Cardi on the acclaimed FX series The Shield. In the 2000s, she earned multiple Daytime Emmy Award nominations for her performance as Vivian Avant on the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful, and later secured recurring roles on comedies like The Last OG and Be Positive. Beyond her acting, she has served as an ambassador of tourism for Antigua and remains a dedicated philanthropist who gives back to her community. At the age of 78, she is alive and continues to be a highly respected veteran of the entertainment industry, celebrated for her trailblazing contributions to television and film. Busta Rhymes as himself. Born on May 20th, 1972 in Brooklyn, New York City, the dynamic rap superstar first brought his explosive energy to television, playing a heightened version of himself on The Wayans Brothers. At the age of 23, his portrayal of the fast-talking, Grammy-nominated hip-hop icon became a memorable cultural crossover, culminating in a hilarious on-screen live performance to save a local church from foreclosure. Busta's primetime caricature of his own larger-than-life Dungeon Dragon rap persona was both hilarious and significant. His guest appearance perfectly captured the vibrant, fast-paced comedic spirit of the 90s, and solidified the hit sitcom's strong connection to hip-hop culture. Despite the character's invincible, highly animated, and extroverted persona, Trevor Smith Jr. is known off-camera as a deeply grounded philosophical man who has weathered immense personal adversity. This stark contrast between his booming stage presence and his private vulnerability became especially apparent as he battled severe health crises. Following the loss of his father, he struggled with profound grief and massive weight gain that pushed him to 340 pounds, leading to life-threatening sleep apnea and vocal cord polyps that nearly destroyed his signature voice. His career was also marked by intense professional hardships. Enduring harsh industry politics, he bounced between major record labels like Aftermath and Cash Money, facing creative clashes, canceled projects, and fully shelved albums. For a period, these bitter label disputes made it incredibly difficult for him to release new work, stalling his musical output and forcing him to fight tirelessly against the changing tides of the music industry. Busta Rhymes ultimately conquered these daunting hurdles, undergoing a massive physical transformation by shedding over 100 pounds and reclaiming his health and vocal power. He successfully revitalized his career, releasing triumphant albums like Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, and Blockbuster, while continuing to tour globally to massive crowds. Honored with a BET Lifetime Achievement Award for his immense contributions to the culture, he remains a devoted father to his children, Taziah Taki Trillion and Mariah. At the age of 53, Busta Rhymes continues to be a revered and enduring force in the entertainment industry, proving that the relentless energy he displayed on screen decades ago is still very much alive. Phil Lewis as TC. Born on September 4th, 1968, in Arua, Uganda, to American parents, Phil Lewis spent much of his youth traveling before finding his calling in acting. At the age of 26, Lewis stepped into the role of TC on The Wayans Brothers and immediately left his mark on television. TC, the quirky, eccentric, and oft-scheming friend of Marlon, became a beloved fixture of the hit 1990s sitcom. With his signature laugh, distinctive physical comedy, and penchant for bizarre odd jobs, Lewis's portrayal elevated the character into a fan favorite and a highly memorable contributor to the era's golden age of black television comedies. Despite TC's goofy, loud, and delightfully unhinged on-screen persona, Phil Lewis in real life is known to be a deeply grounded intellectual and serious individual. Raised in a distinguished family, his father later served as a U.S. ambassador to South Africa. Lewis's measured demeanor provided a stark contrast to his manic character. His path to the show was marked by severe personal and professional hardships. In 1991, he was involved in a tragic, fatal car crash, resulting in a manslaughter conviction and prison time. Rebuilding his acting career in the aftermath was an uphill battle as he fought to overcome industry stigma and find work. Additionally, the Wayans brothers itself brought professional frustration. The show was notoriously canceled by the WB network in 1999 without a proper series finale, unceremoniously ending its 5-season run and leaving the cast without closure. Lewis then faced the hurdle of typecasting, working tirelessly to prove he was more than just a quirky comedic sidekick. Lewis ultimately transcended his early typecasting by successfully reinventing himself both in front of and behind the camera. In the mid-2000s, he introduced himself to a completely new generation, achieving monumental success as the uptight but lovable hotel manager Mr. Mosby on Disney's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and its spin-offs. Beyond acting, he transitioned into a powerhouse television director, becoming one of the industry's most prolific and respected directors of multi-camera sitcoms, helming episodes for hit series like How I Met Your Father, One Day at a Time, and iCarly. He shares a quiet personal life with his wife Megan Benton Lewis, with whom he has 2 daughters. At 57, he is celebrated not only as a nostalgic television icon for multiple generations of viewers, but also as a highly sought-after director actively shaping modern television comedy. Viewers, but also as a highly sought-after director actively shaping modern television comedy. Lela Rochon as Lisa Saunders. Born on April 17, 1964 in Torrance, California, the talented actress first brought her skills to various television and film roles before landing a main part on The Wayans Brothers. At the age of 30, Rochon's portrayal of Lisa Saunders, Shawn Wayans' smart, responsible, and sophisticated girlfriend, provided a grounded, sensible counterweight to the zany, slapstick dynamic of the brothers. During the show's 1995 debut season, her character represented an independent and professional black woman navigating romance and ambition, making her a memorable part of the sitcom's early cultural footprint, before Rochon departed the series to pursue a massive feature film career. Despite playing the poised and often exasperated straight woman to the Wayans' chaotic antics, Lela Rochon in real life was deeply grounded, heavily family-oriented, and possessed a resilience that went far beyond the beautiful love interest trope she was frequently handed. This contrast was a significant part of her personal and professional journey. Despite her undeniable talent and the massive success of her breakthrough film, Waiting to Exhale, she battled the industry's pervasive tendency to typecast her strictly as the glamorous siren or one-dimensional eye candy. This typecasting made it increasingly difficult for her to find multifaceted, complex, dramatic roles that truly showcased her range and acting abilities. Her time on The Wayans Brothers was also notably brief, as she departed after just 6 months. The sitcom itself eventually suffered a harsh industry reality, being unceremoniously canceled in 1999 without a proper series finale, a disheartening end to a 5-season run that left its loyal audience and cast without any closure. Lela Rochon continued to work in television and film over the decades, though she eventually chose to step back from the intense Hollywood spotlight to focus on her personal life and motherhood. In 1999, she married acclaimed film director Antoine Fuqua, with whom she shares 2 children, Asia and Brando, prioritizing her deeply rooted family values over chasing demanding leading roles. At 61, Rochon remains a revered and beloved figure in the entertainment industry. She has steadily returned to the screen in recent years, taking on compelling parts in the Oprah Winfrey Network drama David Makes Man and the BET Plus series The Family Business New Orleans, proving her enduring talent and timeless grace. Paula Jai Parker as Monique. Born on August 19, 1969 in Cleveland, Ohio, the talented actress first gained recognition in comedy clubs and on the Apollo Comedy Hour before stepping into the WB sitcom The Wayans Brothers. At the age of 25, Parker's portrayal of Monique, the sassy, stylish local shopkeeper, and Marlon's primary love interest became a memorable highlight of the series. Monique offered a hilarious and grounded counter to the brothers' chaotic antics, representing the everyday hustle and vibrant culture of New York City. Though her time on the show was relatively brief, her vivacious on-screen presence resonated deeply with viewers, contributing to the sitcom's massive success and helping cement it as a defining staple of 90s black television. Despite the glamorous, outspoken, and fiercely confident persona of Monique, Paula Jai Parker's real life has been marked by a much more vulnerable journey and a quiet reliance on her family and faith. While her on-screen character was a stable and thriving business owner, Parker faced significant instability and professional hardships in Hollywood. Her career was heavily affected by the struggle of being typecast, as she frequently found herself relegated to playing urban stereotypes or around-the-way girls in films like Friday and Hustle and Flow. Her time on the Wayans Brothers also ended in professional disappointment when her character was abruptly written off the show halfway through its second season. Years later, Parker experienced devastating financial struggles. Following the 2007 writers' strike, she lost her home and endured a period of homelessness, living in an extended-stay hotel with her husband and young son. She was forced to rely on food stamps and later spoke openly about feeling blackballed and alienated by former industry friends, making it incredibly difficult to find consistent work for a time. Paula Jai Parker refused to let these setbacks defeat her, continuing to audition and independently rebuild her career. She shares her life with her husband, Forrest Martin, whom she met while he was an intern on the set of Hustle and Flow, and together they have a son, Onderful. Over the years, she found massive success in voice acting, most notably bringing to life the beloved matriarch Trudy Proud in Disney's The Proud Family and its modern reboot, The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. She also appeared on the reality series Hollywood Divas, bravely using her platform to shed light on the harsh realities and lack of loyalty in the entertainment industry. At 56, she remains a resilient working actress, continuing to take on roles in film and television while serving as a powerful testament to perseverance in Hollywood. Gary Coleman as himself. Born on February 8, 1968 in Zion, Illinois, the former child star brought his iconic celebrity persona to the hit sitcom The Wayans Brothers in 1995. At the age of 27, Coleman's portrayal of a heightened, self-aware version of himself became a hilarious and memorable pop culture moment. By leaning into his legendary status and delivering his signature comedic timing, he provided a blast of 90s nostalgia that resonated deeply with audiences, proving the enduring cultural impact of his television legacy and his ability to command a room long after his initial sitcom years. Despite playing a confident, self-deprecating, and upbeat celebrity version of himself on screen, Gary Coleman was deeply frustrated and often struggled with anger and resentment in his personal life. He famously despised being asked to repeat his childhood catchphrases and hated the inescapable shadow of his early success. This immense fame led to severe typecasting, making it exceedingly difficult for him to find serious, sustaining work in Hollywood as an adult. Much of this professional hardship was tied to his short stature, a result of a lifelong congenital kidney disease which limited the roles he was offered. His career struggles were compounded by massive financial ruin. He successfully sued his adoptive parents and former management for misappropriating his childhood earnings, eventually filing for bankruptcy and famously working as a security guard to make ends meet. In his later years, Coleman continued to make sporadic cameo appearances in various shows and films, often reluctantly playing satirical versions of himself, and even made a highly publicized run for governor of California in the 2003 recall election. However, his personal life remained incredibly tumultuous, marked by declining health, ongoing legal altercations, and a highly volatile marriage to Shannon Price. Gary Coleman passed away in Provo, Utah on May 28, 2010, at the age of 42. The cause of death was an epidural hematoma, sustained from a fall at his home, a fatal brain hemorrhage that was complicated by his lifelong battle with kidney disease and reliance on dialysis. Following his tragic passing, a bitter and highly publicized legal battle ensued over his estate, and his remains fought fiercely between his ex-wife and a former friend and manager, casting a distressing shadow over the final chapter of the actor's life. Garrett Morris as himself. Born on February 1, 1937 in New Orleans, Louisiana, the seasoned actor and original Saturday Night Live cast member brought his legendary comedic gravitas to the hit 90s sitcom, The Wayans Brothers. At the age of 57, Morris's appearance as himself, intertwining with his beloved larger-than-life presence on the series, became a memorable highlight for fans of the show. His veteran timing provided a hilarious grounding dynamic alongside the younger Wayans brothers, contributing to the sitcom's massive cultural footprint and resonating with a generation of viewers who appreciated his eccentric and scene-stealing brand of humor. While often celebrated for his loud, eccentric, and quick-witted on-screen personas, Garrett Morris's real-life background paints the picture of a highly disciplined and formally trained artist. A Juilliard-trained singer and former church choir director, his intellectual and musical roots stood in stark contrast to the goofy slapstick characters he was frequently asked to play. This dichotomy fueled some of his professional struggles, particularly as he battled severe typecasting following his groundbreaking run on SNL. Hollywood frequently overlooked his dramatic acting chops and classical talents, pigeonholing him into specific comedic molds that sometimes made it difficult to find diverse work. Additionally, his career faced a harrowing real-life hardship when he was critically wounded during a mugging in 1994, a traumatic event that required a grueling physical recovery and temporarily threatened his professional momentum just as the Wayans brothers was getting underway. Despite these formidable challenges, Morris continued to build a prolific and enduring career in Hollywood, proving his resilience time and again. He went on to star in The Jamie Foxx Show and enjoyed a long run on the hit sitcom Two Broke Girls, where he played the beloved Earl Washington for 6 seasons. Off-camera, he ran his own comedy club, the Downtown Comedy Club in Los Angeles, remaining a vital supporter and mentor within the stand-up comedy scene. His immense contributions to television history were formally recognized when he was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in early 2024. At the age of 89, Morris is still celebrated as a trailblazing figure in American comedy. He remains a respected elder statesman of the entertainment industry, enjoying his later years while looking back on a resilient, barrier-breaking life and career. Constance Zimmer as Vanessa. Born on October 11, 1970 in Seattle, Washington, the classically trained actress brought her sharp comedic sensibilities to the hit sitcom The Wayans Bros during its later seasons. At the age of 28, Zimmer took on the guest role of Vanessa in the 1998 episode The Rich Girl. Her portrayal of a sophisticated and wealthy woman was a memorable touchstone, providing a polished, grounded comedic foil to the high-energy slapstick antics of Marlon and Shawn Wayans. Even in a guest capacity, her impeccable deadpan delivery and undeniable screen presence helped define a character that added a unique, elevated dynamic to the show's cultural landscape in the late 90s. Despite the often bold, extroverted, or hyper-confident nature of the characters she is famous for playing, Constance Zimmer is known to be much more grounded and introspective off-camera. This contrast has been a significant part of her personal journey. While she excelled at playing outspoken women, she found the process of stepping into such authoritative roles to be a constant creative challenge. Her early career was marked by the struggle against being typecast solely in comedic girlfriend or foil roles, which for a period made it difficult to showcase her deeper dramatic range. She weathered the typical professional stings of the industry, sudden cancellations, and the relentless hustle before finding her footing in complex, power-driven characters. Zimmer ultimately broke through those industry hurdles to become one of television's most respected powerhouse actors. She found immense mainstream success in commanding authoritative roles, most notably as the formidable studio executive Dana Gordon on HBO's Entourage and the ruthless Emmy-nominated producer Quinn King on Unreal. She also earned praise for her work in House of Cards and as a director on various television projects. Off-screen, she has remained a dedicated family woman married to director Russ Lamoureux since 2010. At the age of 55, she is a prominent and highly respected figure in Hollywood, balancing her ongoing acting and directing career with her advocacy for various charitable organizations, including the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and environmental causes. Johnny Brown as Maurice/Bookman. Born on June 11, 1937 in St. Petersburg, Florida, the veteran performer brought decades of stage, television, and musical experience to his screen roles. At the age of 58, Brown took on the role of Maurice in the hit 1995 sitcom The Wayans Brothers, providing a seasoned and hilarious presence. For the duration of his appearances, his exceptional comedic timing and physical humor, often punctuated by his infectious, wide smile, defined a character that added a classic comedic flavor to the show's urban landscape. His participation in the series served as a bridge between the golden age of 1970s sitcoms and the high-energy urban comedy of the 1990s. Despite the character's often boisterous and exaggerated antics, Johnny Brown was known off-camera as a gentle, softly spoken family man and a deeply talented singer. This contrast highlighted his impressive range as he frequently had to dial up his extroverted energy to match the slapstick pace of the Wayans brothers. However, his career was also marked by a persistent struggle with typecasting. Having achieved legendary status as the building superintendent Nathan Bookman on Good Times, he found it difficult to secure serious, dramatic roles. The industry often viewed him primarily through the lens of the comical neighbor archetype, a professional hurdle he navigated with grace, while continuing to find work in a rapidly evolving television industry. Johnny Brown remained the treasured figure in black comedy, continuing to make occasional guest appearances and lend his voice to commercial projects throughout the 2000s. He spent his later years enjoying a quiet life with his wife of 61 years, June, and their daughter actress, Sharon Brown. Johnny Brown passed away on March 2nd, 2022, at the age of 84 in Los Angeles, California. His death, caused by sudden cardiac arrest, was met with a widespread outpouring of grief from fans and former co-stars like Janet Jackson, who remembered him as a man of immense joy and kindness. He remains an icon of American television, celebrated for bringing laughter to multiple generations of viewers. Reflecting on the chemistry between Shawn and Marlon, it's clear they weren't just making a sitcom, they were creating a cultural touchstone. Their evolution from 1995 to today reminds us of the laughter that shaped our own lives. It's a beautiful journey of growth and brotherhood that still resonates. If this trip down memory lane brought a smile to your face, hit that like button and share your favorite episode in the comments. Subscribe for more nostalgia.